Let your curiosity rise.
WITiMediX webcast,
Where the human spirit flies. WITiMediX webcast, where the human spirit flies.
Hey, welcome to the WITiMediX webcast. This is Ramana Raju. I'm the host. We are in Silicon Valley. That shades here coming, you see the light. We have all these days we had a no light. That the dark is coming at 5 o'clock. Now the summer came in. I can feel the summer. 95 degrees in California. Can you believe that? This is unusual. And then we'll talk with Susan, our co-host. See air temperature up there. But anyway, I'm excited to. We have this month is a wonderful guest, and let me bring my co-host first, and I'll discuss with her a couple of minutes, and then introduce the guest. Let me introduce brainy and bold and beautiful. Not only that, she won't even shed a tear for you she's a strong iron woman. Let me bring Susan Davis, Dr. Susan Davis. Welcome.
Good evening. I won't shed a tear. Oh, I'm obviously a Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah, that's Ratchet. Yeah.
Thanks, Ramana. How are you?
Good. So, are you excited about? The weather is a very strange. You're in Florida. Is cold. You say it is hot up here, 95 degrees. I never seen this kind of weather here.
Well, we love it hot down here in South Florida. We want it steamy and we want it hot, and it's not that at all. But all last week, 80s. I hate to talk about it. There's people who are really getting covered in snow right now, and they always get cranky with me. But yeah, it's like it was in the 40s this morning. I mean, I literally am wearing a down suit, and so
yeah,
probably shouldn't talk about it. But it's okay. It's warming up. It's a mere passing phenomena.
Yeah. So So I'm going to talk about it a little bit today. I was going to introduce it. So he's coming from the battleground of Dubai right now, one of the battlegrounds. Our guest is going to join with us. But I think I'm going to present after that a topic on quantum sensors. They are going to change. Before we talk, and Dr. Eggermont is talking about a new ecosystem is evolving in the healthcare system. That is not only administrative way, but the technology wise and the new sensors wise, there's going to be a paradigm shift in the healthcare system. That's going to be, in our lifetime, when we see that, we're going to see that actually. But how is let me not talk about your American Heart Association, how things going?
It's still going. It keeps on ticking. So thank you for asking. Yes, I am the Woman of Impact for the American Heart Association here in South Florida. So we are raising money for, and this is a topic very near and dear to our guests' heart as well, women's health, women's longevity, women's cardiovascular health. This is something that our guest this evening spends some time on as well. He supports women entrepreneurs in lots of different ways also. But yes, this is a 9-week campaign, and gosh, I can't even remember what week we're in, Ramana, but the theme for this week anyway is basically basic health. What are we doing for our basic health? What are we eating? Are we sleeping? And are we moving enough? So the take-home message tonight is, come on, guys, get your sleep. Eat well. I think we're pretty all clear on the difference between good food for us and bad food for us. And moving, you must move. You must move it. So back to Nurse Ratchet. I was never very kind. I shouldn't say I wasn't kind, but post CABG patients, post cardiac patients, they got to get up and move. Post any surgery, you got to move. If you want to have longevity, you have to move. Walking is fine. So anyway, thank you for asking. Yes, we still are campaigning. And this week's theme is take care of your health by what you eat, how you move, and how you sleep.
Great advice. Let me introduce our guest. He's joining from the battleground of Dubai. You know, Dubai airport was hit recently, but I hope he's in a safe position, situation there. His name is Dr. Dominique Eggermont. He is from originally from Belgium, but he's been he's been practicing all over the world for all different continents. He was practicing, and then also he was international as far as this organization. I'm going to ask him about that. A very interesting organization. They take care of their employees around the world, like Aramco and all those companies, oil companies, the Malta Fortune 500 companies. That's what they do. So let me introduce Dr. Eggermont, Dr. Dominique Eggermont, joining from Dubai. Welcome, Dr. Eggermont.
Hi, Romana. Hi, Susan. Lovely meeting you. Yes,
Pleasure.
in Dubai here. And since we were talking about the weather, it's about to rain. They're expecting
Oh, that's a very strange.
2-3 centimeters of rain on Monday. So it's been overcast for the past few days. And this is exceptional, but we need the water. We need the rains. So a bit of fresh water will do us a lot of good.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Dr.
You-
Dominic,
everything-
oh,
Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead, lady.
No, Romana, go ahead.
Dr. Eggermont, give me some of your background. You know, what is your journey up to now? What is your journey? A little bit explain to the audience for us.
Very long journey. I'm Belgian. I studied in medical. I went to medical school in Belgium. So I did a pre-specialization in surgery. Was allowed to do 1 year overseas. So I went to South Africa. Talking about early 90s. Did a lot of surgery there, and then I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so I decided to establish my own companies. Moved to emergency medicine, was part of the team that established the very first privately owned emergency department in South Africa. That was with the Mediclinic group in those days. I left South Africa for actually, I had to give away my companies, 51% of my companies for free to due to a legal requirement. I had in those days 82 employees, 8 companies. So we had treated within a 6-year period about 150,000 patients. So for me, seeing patients one at a time became less interesting when I saw the opportunity through entrepreneurship and developing systems and concepts and testing things to provide access to many, many more patients with a good team. Then from there, I ended up establishing a clinic in Far East Russia, in Sakhalin, for the oil and gas industry. From there, I ended up as medical director of Ambreda International, which is probably the intergovernmental insurance company of choice. There's about 85% of the intergovernmental agencies, United Nations, WHO, and so on. And Ambreda was taken over by Cigna in those days. So I ended up being offered a wonderful opportunity in New Zealand, where I ran emergency department, and that was back to practicing medicine. That was very interesting, but of course, an entrepreneur. I started to get involved with other things, such as establishing the first New Zealand emergency department conference and things like that. And then from there, I was called to save a contract, let's say, in Ukraine. Basically, the project in those days already with International SOS, the new safe confinement project, which is the sarcophagus over the doomed reactor in Chernobyl in Ukraine. I went there for 3 months. I was supposed to go home after 3 months. So my brief was save the contract, open the clinic, and go home. So I thought, oh, great, some nice 3 months in the snow in Ukraine, new experience. 10 years later, I left.
10?
10 years later. So I did
Oh
the
my
whole, I basically did the whole project. I was probably most likely one of the longest lasting expatriates on the project. We had 25 nationalities on the project. So, and then from there, I ended up in Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, Vietnam, as regional medical director for the Indochina region. And a very, very interesting thing is that I was involved with COVID before COVID even started. You know, if you allow me, I just ended up in Mongolia to do a simulation exercise around the pandemic outbreak in the down south in the Gobi Desert. That was October 2019. So from there, the COVID outbreak started officially, pandemic declared on the 21st, I think, of January 2020. And frankly, as a doctor, how often in life do we get the opportunity to study, to learn a completely new disease, right? Because COVID is actually an immune disease that affects the vascular system, etc., etc. But I had to study it from scratch, and that was amazing. That was really a very, very thrilling time. And I arrived in Dubai eventually on the 21st of January 21, and carried on working with International SOS as regional medical director. And my passion has always been, you know, looking at problems and finding solutions, you know, to do a proper in-depth analysis. And what is exciting is that people who have been working on a project for years, and you arrive, and within a few days, you have to completely study and integrate and, you know, master the issue, the problem, you know, clean up the mess, come up with solutions, and move on to the next thing. And I love that. I love that. But I'm still an entrepreneur, so I decided then to establish WITiMediX, which is a concept I actually came up with whilst I was doing my MBA in 2017, where the plan actually is to connect the healthcare fraternity. And when I talk about the healthcare fraternity, we're talking about 120 million people globally. 56% of them are patient-facing, clinical, and 44% are not. We're talking about the funders, the pharma, the hospitals, etc., etc. They are not patient-facing. But the problem is that our system is completely fragmented. We're talking about a healthcare system, but the question is it really a system? Is it not just an amalgamation of silos? And so the purpose of WITiMediX is actually to say, hey, you know, let's all communicate. Let's work together. And today we can do this on a global scale very easily. And I found it as I did an AI healthcare program at Harvard last year. I then founded Sanai. And Sanai is actually putting together thinkers from all over the world. And initially we were Harvard alumni. Now we're having the MIT people on board, and we're going to have many, many more coming as we make noise, as we grow. And the intention is basically to all start communicating. And why is that? Because in 2017, one of my co-students, professor in spinal surgery, in Brussels University says, you know, said, Dominique, go for it, because I have designed a technique that no one in Argentina knows about. We need this. We need a solution where we put everybody together to talk and communicate across all sorts of topics and so on. So that's the vision.
Beautiful. You have an amazing experience, you know, Dr. Eggermont. It is really a unique experience, you know, international, all continents, almost, he covered most of the continents, you know, saying all the different countries. What did you find something common among all the systems? One thing that that you won't change, all the system, one thing common, what do you think in that commonality in the healthcare system?
I would like to change two essential aspects. I already touched on the fragmentation, meaning that the solutions are there. If you look at it globally, there is a solution for every problem in somewhere in the world. The problem is we don't know about it. So we're all busy spending money and time and energy on finding solutions for local problems that have already been solved a long time ago somewhere else. But, so we siloed. The other problem that I see is governance. Now, when I talk about governance in healthcare, it's complex. We already immediately think about clinical governance, but we need corporate governance in healthcare. We need financial governance in healthcare. We need IT governance in healthcare. We need AI governance in healthcare. And we need data governance in healthcare. So for me, I think really we need to get the right care to the right person at the right time. But for that, we need governance, and we need to now take advantage of this amazing tool, which is AI, on the condition that this AI is regulated, right? This cannot be, and forgive me the expression, but it cannot be the Wild West and a free-for-all. We have to think in terms of what benefits the system to the extent that the system becomes less fragmented, that it becomes more integrative, right? Where it becomes more inclusive, where even when we talk about bias and so on, where we make sure that the diversity is represented within all those tools that we are now so luckily have access to. What an exciting time we're living. I mean, and I'm sorry to say, but we had COVID. That was a very interesting time. It challenged us.
I'll let you, Susan,
And
1 second. Let me follow up a quick question, and then I'll let Susan take over. The question I have is, what do you see in the Dubai healthcare system that, a lot of my hometown is Hyderabad, India. A lot of people come from my hometown to Dubai. They practice there, and I know a lot of doctors, friends of mine, they practice in Dubai. So what do you think that Dubai healthcare system is? They wanted to do a lot of new things. You think that change of the silos, they're bringing down the silos, people like you, are they open to that kind of system? Or what is your experience in Dubai healthcare system so far?
I have one word for the Dubai healthcare system. It's called innovation. It's vision. It's regulation. Just an interesting fact. In 2017, Dubai had a Minister of State of AI. The whole world was laughing, thinking, it's a gimmick. Look at it today, right? AI leadership. So the one thing about Dubai is that it has political will aligned with a private sector ambition, right? And
Absolutely.
using this digital healthcare transformation, where Dubai becomes a test bed for solutions that can then scale,
in healthcare and entrepreneurship. I mean, they're known for the same. It doesn't matter what we're talking about here. They have that same formula, that same template that they are bringing to the world. Their innovative stance in entrepreneurship and business.
Yes, and what they have also, which I think is a differentiator, is the speed of execution. So the thing is that the question you will ask is, can that scale globally? And I'm saying, well, maybe not directly, but principles scale. The alignment, regulatory agility, the digital first design, those are transferable. So we can all learn from each other. And this is where this globalization idea comes from. It's not one solution fits all. There are many solutions, but we need adaptation. We need adaptability, right? And so it's all about the one who adapts and adopts fastest and best.
And
And
so with that in mind, you are, what you have right now with your colleagues, you're formulating this Dubai-esque business, right? And then trying to bring it to the collective, or wanting, not trying, you will bring it to the collective. And it's a very, very exciting perspective. You know,
yes,
relentless pursuit for solutions for a global, on a global scale. You mentioned the collaborative that you're putting together with your Harvard colleagues and so on and so forth. How many of them are clinicians, my question is, and how important it is to have clinicians at the table, so to speak, when we're looking at the collective, and how many of them, this is two parts question, have a background similar to yours? Because we know our Harvards and our Stanfords, and some of them have quite a lot of global expertise. You have a massive global expertise. How important is it that we have clinicians, and how many of those clinicians have global expertise to bring to the table?
very good question. Well, first of all, the Sanai community is global. Of course, 70% of the students are US based. But today, we are a group of people, be it Singapore, be it India, be it Pakistan, be it Europe, be it, of course, the GCC region, and so on, South America, Africa, talking with our colleagues in the US. Now, what is the overarching concept and idea is that we cannot in any way, sense or form, disturb the sacrosanct relationship between the physician and the patient, or I would say the clinician and the patient. So this 56% of the healthcare community has to be respected, keeping this relationship totally well controlled, nurtured, and by bringing in all the knowledge, experience, and expertise from the non-clinicians, making them work together as a team, this is where we can really make a difference. If we're all going to remain in our silos, I'll give you a little anecdote. When I was doing my MBA, we had to one day present what we do. Each one of us, each student, what we do. And in those days,
Where did you begin?
But no, what I said, I was in Chernobyl in those days, and I said, I'm doing medical engineering. And people were like, what's that? Are you a doctor or an engineer? I said, no. I arrived, there's nothing in place. I do a gap analysis, I look at all the needs, etc. I put everything together. At the end of the session, people came to me and said, Dominique, we didn't realize what you do. And I said, well, to be very honest, when you presented, I was so surprised. I didn't realize what you do. So we are siloed. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter. We can look at all the causes of that. Is it really a system? We say the healthcare system. Which healthcare system are we talking about? So I'm saying no. We siloed. How do we break that up? How do we start? How do we look at changing the existing ecosystem to a new one that is much needed? And so I'm actually looking at things in the ecosystem way. There are two completely new ecosystems, two new opportunities arising. The first one is that we are moving from sick care to health span. So health span is a huge chunk. So if you look at it from a point of view of, so when I was at uni, I always complained about, yeah, but what about prevention? What about prevention? Why aren't we preventing? This is so costly. The global healthcare budget is $12 trillion. Of that, 25% is wastage. How do we fix that? And then comes longevity. And now out of those 12 trillion, we're looking at probably 1.8 trillion that will go towards longevity, right? But we still need to fix this 25% inefficiency, this fragmentation that is so costly, this duplication. So this is the vision. So we're moving from sick care. Sick care will always exist. But the thing is that even cancer has become a chronic disease. So we're now looking at how we're going to tackle the cost, the burden on society of non-communicable diseases, right? So we can do that by working on health span. I don't like the word longevity, but it's there now, it's in the open, let's stick to it. The problem with longevity, if you go back, and I'm Francophone, so if you go back to the translation, it means lifespan, in a sense. Now, I don't want to promise lifespan. I want to promise health span. I want to promise 10, 20 years of quality that is improved. And if you improve that quality of, so it's called, quality stands for quality adjusted life years. If you improve that quality, you're going to extend lifespan, right? But don't start by promising, oh, you're going to live to 130. No, no, no. We're going to help you rejuvenate by, say, 10, 20 years by assessing you epigenetically, and so with precision medicine. And we can do that now with AI diagnostics, etc. And we're going to give you a much better chance at life. We're going to give you life in your later years, right? So here is an opportunity. So that is one thing that we need to look at. The second thing we should look at is, traditionally, the hospitals were ruling the roost. Now, meaning we had, and that was our thesis for uni, was talk about the hub and spoke model. And I said, well, actually, I'm going to talk about the spokes and hub model. Because traditionally, hospitals were doing everything. But in future, hospitals will probably focus on operations and intensive care and when you're really, really sick. But if we want to really help healthcare, I'll ask you a question. Which is the largest hospital in the world? It's the hospital at home.
Yeah.
So think about primary care and just look at it from a standpoint of, hey, why can't we, with remote patient management, with AI, with all the tools we have at our disposal today, consider a completely new, better developed primary care system, which becomes a new ecosystem. And when I talk about primary care, I'm talking from the hospital at home all the way to admission, so meaning including emergency medicine, emergency department. And then you get into the hospital, the traditional hospital. So there is a transformation happening. And the future will actually be a future where healthcare will no longer be managed by asset-driven systems. It will be managed by transformation into proper AI-driven platforms. So
decentralizing the care, right?
It's a hybrid where on the one hand you have centralized still, because when you deal with a severe problem, you need to go to the hospital, and then the hospital will direct how the aftercare takes place, right? But on the other hand, You have decentralization because primary care is going to ensure that we are living healthier, better outside the healthcare system until such time. I mean, what is the amount of budget, the percentage of healthcare budget that goes to the end of life? Majority of the healthcare budget today gets spent on the last few days of life, right? So let's start looking at it in a very different way. And platforms are in future going to run healthcare, not hospital assets. I may be wrong, but let's
I
look
don't think
again
so.
in 20
I don't think
years.
so. It's a thrilling time. It's a thrilling prospect. It does not seem untouchable. It does not seem undoable. It seems extremely doable. It seems very intuitive. And as we pull together as a collective, it just seems like the way. This is where we are. We know that half our patients get, hospitalitis just from being in there. And not even from their dis-ease, but just from being there alone. So my follow-up question on all that is, when you bring together these amazing teams that are starting this project, my mom always says there's a way to enter the system. You're bringing a global perspectives together. There must be, let's just go briefly to the leadership that is going to be required to pull together a team such as the one that you are. From a leadership perspective, how do we bring together all this global mentality and this global thought process? Just the leadership alone, the discipline to bring them together, the emotional intelligence, the EQs squared. How do you suggest? How are you digging into that?
That's a pet subject of mine.
Oh.
You spoke about dis-ease, and I think there's going to have to be a very important mental health aspect to whatever we do. That's one thing. So we need to think as globalists. Why is that? What differentiates us as humans, the way we are perceived, is 0.5 millimeter of the skin. I'm talking about the epidermis that decides on the color of our skin. And we are actually completely split across nationalities, culture, religions, creed, ethnicity, race, etc. Meanwhile, having worked in all those systems and in all those countries, a broken arm is a broken arm.
Very good point.
A sick liver is a sick liver. It makes no difference.
But Dr. Eggermont, isn't it cultures play a role here?
Yes.
You have to respect certain cultures, that it is a very interdynamics, right?
Yes, culture, fine. But the thing is, so you're asking about leadership, right? So you need, okay, you go to an orchestra, the pianist, the violinist, etc. They know their job. They know what they do best. But you still need somebody to run the theater. You still need a director, an orchestra leader. You need somebody who makes this cacophony sound like a symphony, right?
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that for that we spread the message. We spread the culture, and we understand that we are all one, but as in the Three Musketeers, all for one, one for all. There were four, by the way, but anyway. And so why don't we just start taking a step back and look at this from a point of view of, I am human. This is about humanity. How do we carry our message across for the benefit of society? So, but the driver will not be all those beautiful, wonderful, amazing ideas. The driver will be actually cost-driven. Remember, I said the system is fragmented, it's extremely expensive. So as a result, all those leaders, governments, managers, and so on, each in every single country are going to start assessing healthcare and saying, whoa, we cannot carry on this way because our costs are growing faster than our GDP, right? So, and the results are not there. So we're spending a lot of money, not enough, but a lot of money on prevention, but are we actually measuring the benefits yet? So we need to start rethinking things. And we talk about value-based care, and I always like to say, have we thought about values-based care?
Yeah.
You
Yeah. How
know?
about we start there? Yeah.
So there's a lot of work to do, but for that we need like-minded individuals. We need to spread the message, the culture, and attract those who really believe in that. And it's not change for the purpose of change. Absolutely not. It's change for the better. And at the forefront, we have two things: humanity and technology. And when 20 years ago someone started a company, he was told, "Oh, but you need to start it in your village, in your hospital." And there was always the risk that the hospital next door, even if you succeeded, would never accept your idea. You know, that not invented here syndrome and what's in it for me and all these aspects. And and I'm saying, well, actually, this is a solution that is global. Therefore, I'm going to draw in intellect and vision and culture and whatever ideas and contribution from people who have been there. So yes, maybe my profile is a little bit, they used to call me the white raven, but I'm not the only one. There's many like me around. You just maybe not see them as much, But if we can get together with like-minded individuals who understand, and also the other thing is, I'm reaching an age where I'm saying, hey, let's give back and let's bring the youngsters in and let's prepare them for their future. Let's prepare healthcare, not just for the elderly, because by 2050, I think 2 billion, almost a quarter of the world population, will be beyond 60, right? But let's make sure that the youngsters, we start aging from conception. I think at the age of 11, our thymus already ages. 35, that's where most our organs are aging. That's when we need to catch the system, slow down. We're always going to age, right? We're always going to degenerate, but we need to regenerate by preventing. And that means that if we start at 35 to really look after individuals properly, they could live healthily. So we would bring healthy life to years towards the end. No aches and pains the day you turn 60. Let's perhaps rethink all that, and society will feel much better, because there's going to be such a saving, a reallocation of funds where the entire community is satisfied, all the stakeholders. We're talking about the clinicians and the patients and the payers, the funders, the regulators, the government, etc., etc. So we have a tremendous opportunity, and it's time. Now, perhaps it's visionary. I've been thinking about this for the past 35 years.
And I think you'll find many of us have. It's so where do we go? Where do we start? This is a visionary, but it's not so far-fetched. It's the truth. It's where we are, where we need, well, not where we are, but where we need to be. So where are you starting? What's our starting point? How do we say, yep, this is what we want? Pick me.
So let's start by having a sound strategy. Let's start by showing integrity. You were talking about EQ. As I said, that's my pet subject. IQ, there's nothing much you can do about it. You can try and fool the test, but ultimately, that's about it. EQ. My life turned around 20 years ago when I read a book on EQ. From that day on, I stopped stressing.
Emotional coefficient, right? EQ means.
Yeah, the emotional quotient. But you need to add a few more. I'm not going to go down the whole alphabet, but I have it. So what about the CQ, the curiosity quotient? You want to find solutions, be curious. Now, then comes another aspect, the SQ, right? The social quotient. Now, I'll admit, probably within the SQ, there is a PQ. And I'll admit that perhaps I'm a bit weak on that one. It's the political quotient. One has to be a diplomat, and I'm quite good at that. But politics are disturbing. But it has to be managed. The politics are extremely important here. Then you have there's another EQ, but which would be the execution quotient, which I will call the action quotient. So you have to act. It's
Big
all
one.
good and well to talk and discuss and argue, and let's act, right? Then you need the BQ, which is your bravery quotient.
Whoa, this is good.
And then you need what I call the CQ again, which is charisma. And charisma you can acquire. It's not something you got naturally, always. You can acquire it. So bring up the right message and make noise. We laugh about it with Sanai, about making noise, but we have to make noise. Otherwise, in all this darkness and in all this gray noise, you have to stand out and disrupt gently, nicely. But what I'm saying is come up with something new, something exciting, give hope.
The noise that I'm hearing from your description goes back to your description of the orchestra. The noise that you're talking about making sends beautiful, beautiful music and gloriously light ripples across the planet, which acts and counteract some of the other colors and some of the other vibrations that are on this planet that are not, serving the conversation we're having here this evening. We can make noise in a beautiful manner, especially when we combine efforts.
You need artists for that,
Yeah.
number one. But I always like to say the music is in the notes between the lines. We need to make those notes come out, right? It's not a rigid partition.
No.
And it's all about interpretation. So let's all get together, write this partition. Here's the opportunity of a lifetime. Let's write this partition together, but make sure it's focused on one thing, and that is health of the individual within a society. It's a huge, vast endeavor. But so what? Do you think when Beethoven came up with his works and Mozart that he thought that it would be easy? It's refining, and he didn't have AI. He did it all with the most amazing tool he had, which is the human brain, right?
Why else are we here? Why else are we here if we can't do this project? This is the project.
This is it. So
that. Yeah, go ahead. But whatever you're doing, a revolutionary work. Really, honestly, what you're presenting is a global solution for the healthcare. Health is a human right. I believe in strongly about that. Me and Susan always profess that part. Anywhere, anybody in the world needs to dissolve that system. You are really forefront of that system. We need an American healthcare system with all the money is totally broken. It is, I've been in this country and see in the system, and she is a participant of the Susan is a participant in the system. You articulated very well. There's a fragmented system. We need to advance this system. So it is, one of the things it can come from is from the nature itself, the solutions are. I'm going to present one of those nature solutions today. And then after that, we come back and ask for what are your practical solutions you can implement in this country or in Dubai, and how we all can benefit each other. Let us talk about that. Let me present this. Navya, can you bring that? Let me present this topic. And then after that, this is the clinical side of the paradigm shift that I am, the slides. Yeah, correct. Okay. That is, I'm going to talk about Dr. Eggermont, and this is a very different world. 1990s, I used to go to doctors' offices and sell medical devices or computers. I used to sell computers in 1990, late 80s and 90s. They used to laugh at me. What is computers going to do within a doctor's office? That's what they said. But they stopped laughing now, right? So everybody is realizing that how important these computer systems are. Now, I tell you, there is another paradigm shift is coming from the nature itself. Quantum physics is coming to the doctor's office directly. I'm going to show you how it is going to come in. This is a new paradigm shift in the healthcare. I'm presenting a 5 kind of sensors. These are the quantum sensors based on quantum physics. We always thought until now the quantum physics is connected with the only smallest particles, is like atoms, the neutrons, or electrons, protons. But actually, nature found a way to exhibit this kind of a thing. The quantum physics can be in the macroscopic world. It can affect. There is a quantum sensors. That quantum sensors are the way we understood the nature very well. Actually, Richard Feynman, one of the greatest physicists, say that all is quantum. Actually, we think classical, but everything is a quantum. That's what he said. But here, I'm going to explain to you why quantum medicine is a powerful. These sensors are. It can detect way, way, way earlier before any detection mechanism we have now. It's simply portable, cheap, and best. You don't need no cost, no additional cost. Not like MRI costs $2 million and PET CT scan, that kind of things. So you can replace with the quantum sensors with the portable systems. Unbelievable changes are going to come in. The targeted medicine, precision target is going to be that is a benefit. It is know exactly at the cellular level, you can go after that particular cell. Way in advance, you can watch some cell is behaving in a very strange way. You can watch that and see how it is growing. If it is acting up, you can kill it right there. So these are the 5 sensors I'm going to talk about. Quantum dots, Bose-Einstein condensate sensors, and then atomic vapor sensors, and SQUID. SQUID is not that SQUID you're talking about. This is called, I'll explain to you, diamond sensors. These are the sensors. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Now, let us talk about quantum dots. What are these? Cadmium, selenium. These are made up artificially made. These are carbon, silicon. You can do with the lead. All kinds of things. You can combine them together. They are fluorescent contrast agents. Susan, you do a lot of contrast agents. These are the agents, contrast agents. What they do is they illuminate the cells, which cancer cells. They target the cancer cells. How they do that? I'm going to give you one use case scenario. This is one of the He or positive 2 gene expression is very evident in the human epidermal growth factor receptor 2. That's what they say. HER2 is the one very prevalent in the breast cancer. If you find that, the pathologists find that is immediately they will go and then either they do surgically remove or radiation oncology, some of the radiation they do, and they try to treat the cancer. But, there is another way you can do that also. Very easy. Quantum dots. Quantum dots is an injection. You can give it to the quantum dots. It's a cadmium, selenium. It's a colorless. Most of the time it's colorless. You can take it out. And then you take a Herceptin medicine, which is a HER2 targeted drug, combine them they conjugate together, they attach together, and you give it to the patient. What it does, it goes inside, and a lock and key mechanism, it goes to all the cancer cells only and attach to the cancer cell. So what we do after that, quantum dots, you flash a light on it, blue light on it. When you flash a blue light, it gives a red light. All these cells with the cancer, they give a red light back. Exactly, you cannot hide. The cancer cells cannot hide anymore. Exactly where they are at. So this is at the cellular level, micro level. This is a very powerful. Quantum dots are extremely powerful. They're coming in the medicine soon. Works on a very strange. What is the principle behind it? The quantum physics. I'm going to give you a little bit of a quantum physics. It's called a Pauli's exclusion principle. Pauli's exclusion principle is suppose a electron going to the higher orbit, electrons only occupy certain orbits around the nucleus. It is a discrete energy levels. Okay, it's not like so when you excite them, they go from one state to the other state, the higher state. So when they go to the higher state, that is you're exciting the electron jump from the lower state to the higher state. It's not a real jump. It actually disappears and appears. We don't know how he traveled. We don't know that process. This is a very strange way he does. That is a quantum physics. It's like a basketball. You throw up in the air the basketball and then comes back. You hold it. You are spending your energy to hold that the catch that ball. There is no somebody holding it. The nature itself holding it. So it releases. When you excite them, it goes to the higher orbit. When you take the lights off, it comes back. When it comes back, it releases that energy. The energy that you're stopping the basketball, same kind of energy that you're using it, that energy comes as a light, red light. That is a Pauli's exclusion principle. It's a quantum physics fundamental principle. He is actually from Dutch, he's an Austrian physicist, actually. The Wolfgang Pauli, we used to study about him quite a bit. Wolfgang Pauli is the so this is a very, that is where actually a lot of people think that Pauli's exclusion principle, why you feel pain. When gravity brings you down, when your butt hurts, fall on the floor, the reason was actually people think gravity is not causing the pain. What is causing the pain is Pauli's exclusion principle is that two electrons cannot stay in the same state, same energy place. They cannot be together. So they repel. When they repel, that resistance that causes the pain. So the electrons in your body. So because we are cells made up of molecules made up atoms are made up of particles. We have electrons in our body. That electrons, when you fall on the earth, what happens? The earth has the electrons. You cannot be in the same state. It repels. That's what it does. So is a repulsion. Is the electrons repel together that causes the resistance, it causes the pain. Is a quantum principle causes the pain actually here. So the next sensors I'm going to talk about is superconducting quantum interference device, SQUID they call. There is Edward Flynn is a Los Alamos laboratory physicist. What he did was his wife was in coma with the breast cancer. What he wants to know whether she can listening or not his talk. But there is no way EEG, the signals are not enough to catch that process. So he invented a helmet based on a SQUID, superconducting quantum interference device, very cryogenic, low, the minus 270 Kelvin is very, very lowest temperatures. You put these SQUIDs. These are made up of SQUID. These are the chips, made up of with the cold temperatures. It is actually on the top of the head. They detect the anomalies. The coma patients, they can see they are understanding or not. That coma patients are aware or not, you can detect that. So we have a new technology coming there. You can see that coma patient may be understanding, he's self-aware. We don't know. So these new technologies can reveal that much more clear way. What is the principle behind it? It's called superconductivity. Superconductivity is when you take a material and put in the lowest temperatures, you reduce the temperature, there is no resistance. Electrons flow for free. There is no, so you can send a transmission of electricity from here to New York without any cost, basically. The resistance is zero. That is the levitation. Is actually on the right side, you see that the magnet, it levitates. Actually, is a superconductivity also causes the levitation. You can do that without any outside forces. That is a superconductivity. The nature itself repels that and then puts you in the orbit. That's one of the principles of superconducting. It's a very strange quantum principle. That we don't know how it came out, but that we understood. We are understanding. We're trying to use the quantum physics for our advantage. The next one is my favorite one, impure diamonds. In Siberia, there was a big meteor came in 75 million years ago. It created diamonds in the earth. They're not pure diamonds. They're not, you can't give it to the wedding. It's not a wedding rings. They are diamonds, impure diamonds. They are, what it does is it takes the diamond as all carbon atoms. It knocks out two carbon atoms outside of the on the when it made two carbon atoms are gone. So one is and replaces with a nitrogen. It's called nitrogen vacancy center, they call that. Diamonds are extraordinary to find the cellular. It detects the cancer much more earlier than anything you can imagine. Diamonds are wonderful sensors. They are the super sensitive sensors. So I'm working on it. I told a little bit about that to Susan. WITiMediX OS operating system based on, you can do cancer in a briefcase. You can carry and deliver, detect, and kill. You can use the spions, some of the paramagnetic systems, and then go there, target it, and then heat it up through the rubbing the magnet back and forth, and it gains energy, and then leave it there. That immediately that hypothermia will kill that cell. So it is a cancer care in a briefcase. Is a diagnosis and treatment you can do both with a briefcase. That is, the future is coming in an extraordinary way. It is coming to. What is the principle behind it? It is the electron spin. Electrons have a very strange concept, very strange phenomenon. Spins. Electron spin is very elusive. We don't know. We never seen it, but we know that it spins. Susan says both. It is very interesting. It is a clockwise and anti-clockwise same time. Same time. We don't. That's beyond our understanding. How can you do both same time? Like this quantum physics, it does the clockwise and anti-clockwise same time. The electron spin. One more thing. This is a very interesting thing. Electrons carry negative charge, and they have produced electric. Whenever there is electron moving around, that means it produces current. Where there is a current, there is a magnetism. That's what we detect in the medical field. So wherever there is a electrons movement of electron causes electricity. Electricity is always with the magnetism. Magnetism is the one we measure for the cellular level. So electron spin, also we don't know this, not only the charge itself, the spin has its own current. We use that current, and when there is a current, there is a magnetism. We can measure. This magnetism is so sensitive. Anomalies of a cell, single cell MRI, basically, that way it does. It's an amazing spin current. Is an amazing concept. I'm actually working with the San Diego State University. I'm a mentor for them, quantum sensors. Thank you for shout out to all the San Diego State University. Still, I'm a mentor for them. I'm really excited about that combination. But Bose-Einstein condensate sensors, these are all BEC sensors. These are all very strange. You take a glass of the steam and then cool it, it becomes a water. If you take a vapor steam and cool it, it becomes a water. If you further cool it, it becomes ice. Then what happens if you cool it all the way to the lowest temperatures, the minus 273 degrees Kelvin, close to the coldest spot in the universe? We can cool it through lasers. You can cool them. What happens? That is a strange thing happens in the quantum physics. If an atom is the position and momentum cannot be simultaneously discovered. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, that is. So because you trap the atom in one place, that means the velocity is also zero. But nature said that no, you cannot know both. So it becomes a wave. It becomes a wave. That is a Bose-Einstein condensate. It's a wave kind of thing. What is special about this? It is a time invariant, space invariant. If I put a Susan there, Susan is yesterday, she looks exactly the same as tomorrow. So there is no time difference. She's everywhere, all the places, same time. So that is the Bose-Einstein condensate state is one of the things they want to do. These are neurodegenerative diseases. They wanted to find an early way you can detect it. It's so sensitive. It can be early Alzheimer's, Parkinson, all those things you can detect way, way, way earlier. So that is the power of these sensors, what they're working on. The next one is what is the principle behind it? This is why Bose Einstein. Bose is an Indian scientist, Indian mathematician. Sachendranath Bose, his name. Albert Einstein wrote a paper together, Bose Einstein statistics. What they said that is like if a bunch of atoms, once you cool them together, they become act like one atom. That's a very strange phenomenon. Like a bunch of people would put together, Dr. Eggermont is talking about humanity is all one. So that's what it is. It is all become one human there. Individual, they lose the identity of individual atoms, lose the identity, they become one. That is the rubidium, the bosonic state. That's called. What is the principle? Bosons, not like electrons. Electrons don't like to be next to each other. Bosons are very funny. They can be in the same state. They can be in the same place. They act like a one. Husband and wife, they act like a one in this case. So this is the very closest that you can get into the bosonic state. Bosonic state is photons, and even atoms can be in the boson state, one state. Bunch of atoms, like a Mexican wave in the ball games. All look exactly if you see from the sky, it looks all same. So one wave. So this is that Bose-Einstein condensate. International Space Station actually produced this. This is after 75 years after he died. Actually produced it at the University of Denver, Colorado. They got the Nobel Prize for that. Practically they produced it. This is the last one I'm going to talk about, atomic vapor magnetometer. One of the causes of the epilepsy, we don't know that some certain cells cause epilepsy, I understand. So what you do is, these are atomic vapor. They take a rubidium, they vaporize it, and they put in this system, and they put a magnet around it. When it does that, it detects the brain waves. Brain has a current, brain also is like a 20-watt bulb. It produces the magnetic pulses that it detects that one. So it can detect, and it can separate the detection of normal cells from the epilepsy cells. Eventually, they want to do addiction cells. They wanted to find out all the alcoholic cells and all those kind of things, depression, all those things. So it can differentiate that cells. Way futuristic machines, these are all. What is the principle behind it? It's called a rubidium atom. It's called Zeeman effect. Zeeman effect is a very, very strange, very, it is, unless you're a quantum physicist, you really don't appreciate, it's very hard to appreciate understanding this process. What it is a bunch of atoms together. You have an energy stage. If you put the electrons, for example, are in one state in general, where there is no magnetism, there in one orbit, one energy state. When you put in the magnet around them, they split into 3 states and they exist all same time. Very strange. Like a Susan is three people, is existing. Three people exist same time. That is the strangest thing. It's not one place. Where are those electrons? We have those electrons in our bodies. It's not from outside. So we exist at 3 places in that same time, in the electrons at the microscopic level. So when that 3 places is called a Zeeman effect. So anything that affects it, they're so sensitive to find any variation. Epilepsy cells come and disturb that. You will know that is disturbing that one. You can predict the variation from there. You can say that particular cell, it can map out that cell. Because it gives also light. That cell gives a light. You can do that. So these are all things coming to the quantum physics is bringing to the doctor's office. As Dr. Eggermont is talking about, we are going to be a new frontier in medicine. The not only administrative side, silos will go, the care is going to go home. Eventually, the care and treatment is we need a new ecosystem is evolving in front of our eyes. It's a beautiful. We are in a great time in the history of science. Thank you for watching. Let me bring my guests. so so that's my presentation, Dr. Eggermont.
This is
Woo!
this is brilliant, and because you mentioned Einstein, and of course I was reading just recently about Bose. Frankly, I remember Einstein having read from Einstein a quote where he said, "If you cannot explain a complex problem simply, it means you didn't understand it."
Yeah.
So
And
Correct.
good.
what you were saying here is music to my ears, because a very important project I'm working on is called Regen X. And it's based on the principle that, as we started this about nature, we are electromagnetic.
Indeed.
That's it. And
Yeah.
That's it.
our nerve conduction, at my age, for example, is half what it was 30 years ago.
Mm.
So everything is about grip and grit, meaning that you need to look after the physical ecosystem, you need to look after the mental ecosystem. Again, I'm talking ecosystems. I firmly believe in ecosystems, and the
Yes,
human body
absolutely.
is one very complex ecosystem. Now, I'll ask you a question. How many cells do we have in our body?
90 trillion cells, right? 90 or
Trillions.
something.
Okay, I mean, don't quote me here, but it's actually, for you to remember easily, it amounts to the US public debt. It's 37 trillion cells.
Yeah.
Do you do you know how many bacteria we have in our body?
Oh my gosh.
37 trillion.
Wow.
Okay, so basically we are living in harmony. Each cell has a bacteria, relatively speaking. So what I'm saying is you need to look after the multiome. I'm talking about the microbiome. Gum health is an essential aspect of that. The transcriptome, the proteome, the epigenome. I mean, you can't do anything about your DNA, you got it, but you can look at the telomeres and so on and so on. You need to look after your electrical system. So you're talking about electrons. That's what we're all about, magnetic fields and electrons. And so we need to make sure, today we're not talking about the electrome much. You talk a lot about multiome, microbiome, oh, probiotics, prebiotics, postbiotics. Oh, wow, let's sell nutrients, let's push this and this and that. That's all great. But actually, the neuroendocrine axis is key. The vagal nerve is absolutely essential.
Yeah.
And so then you start adding the microbiome. The genome is probably 20% of it all. But I would like to talk again in a few years, and I can tell you that the electrome is going to be on top, or at least second behind the neuroendocrine axis. So quantum longevity is the way to go. Let's all get acquainted with what quantum science is all about,
Mhm.
and let's apply it. And there again, this is where platforms can help spread the
Yes.
message, right? And not the disease, if I may, where you actually make sure that change can happen, but then at the speed that we haven't known so far, basically change on steroids. And if we start looking at issues holistically, then we look at humans and we say, okay, this is your current state. I mean, electromagnetic state, your natural state, your cellularity, okay? And now you as an individual are going to need precision diagnostics. So we're going to have a personalized precision assessment, and from there, we're going to put together a holistic plan, which I designed around 10 pillars. And we're talking about, for example, if we make a specific diagnosis, it could be that you need regeneration, recovery, or just cardio health, or neuromodulation, or immunotherapy, or mental health therapy, or sexual health, be it sexual in the sense of also reproductive, but also organic, functional. So let's say we start looking at the human body across 9 different pillars, the first most important one being the diagnostics. So we do a personalized assessment of an individual, and we say, okay, this is your condition today. Your passport age is that much. Your biological age is that much. But with this and this and this intervention, non-invasive, we can bring you back perhaps 10, 20 years. The gap in the UAE is 18 years. The gap between lifespan and health span is 18 years. So let's bring you back 18 years, right? And then we carry on from there on, and we look after you. This is the future of healthcare. I firmly believe that. Cancer has become a chronic disease. And you can add to that hyperbaric therapy, cryotherapy, name it, all of that, looking after the cells. And I'll give you another example. Our skin on the outside is negatively charged. On the inside of our skin, it's positively charged. Now, at school, we were always taught, oh, when you have an injury, the macrophages and all those little funny cells are going to come because they are paramedics and they are looking for problems all along your body. It doesn't work that way anymore. Well, it's never worked that way. That's what we were told and taught. The future is a future where if, for example, I cut the skin, it immediately creates an imbalance, an electrical imbalance. So suddenly from negativity, it becomes positive, or positive, negative, and it's a mess. It sends a signal to the brain, and the brain tells all those little cells, go to that electrical imbalance, go and fix it. And this is where healing starts. Now, the problem is that the nerve conduction having slowed down with age, it means we don't heal as fast. We're still going to heal, but not as fast. Everything takes much more time. So let's look after the nerve conduction. Let's look after the grip. So sarcopenia is one of the main problems we have with aging, right? So, and let's look after the mental side. And that's when you start looking at the blood system, the lymphatic drainage system, etc., etc. All of that around a vagus nerve. So let's rethink human bodies so we can rethink healthcare.
Okay, I'm in, and I want a gallon. Can you? I'll take 3 gallons, please.
3 gallons, please. Dr. Eggermont, tell us a little bit. What is your plans for in Dubai healthcare system? Can we participate, or you can participate here? What is the in any way we can help each other?
Yeah, and how can we help? And how can we help? That's what we want to do.
So come and help, because we need brains. We need people who are going to challenge the status quo for the single purpose of improving things faster. Because we can have this conversation for 20 years and not do anything. The secret lies in the action.
Yes.
Now, what Dubai actually, what is amazing, it's like a sandbox ecosystem. I was fortunate to work in Chernobyl, where we were very isolated, no constant communications. Everything was, really you had to be resilient. So I used this opportunity to come up with ideas and concepts that I could test there and then within a closed system, and then I could then bring those systems, those solutions to the open world and implement them. This is what we need to do. Instead of all sitting in our little environment, we need to communicate. We need to open those gates. And of course, we need to make sure it doesn't become a cacophony.
Yes.
Each and every one of us knows what to do. We just don't tell each other. It's like cells of our human body that are not communicating with each other. And that's when trouble starts. That's when cancers occur. That's when chronic disease sets in. So we need to do the same. We need to use Dubai as a testing ground and a wonderful opportunity, all within, of course, respect for regulation, ethics, extremely important, utilizing AI, but ethically, and putting everybody together along the same path where each and every one of us knows his role, knows what to do, but then making sure that it's well orchestrated. And whatever, I'm not saying that what you're going to do in Dubai, you're going to transpose it somewhere else. No, it's all about adopting and adapting, right? But we always need to have one thing in mind. The solution has to be accessible, it has to be affordable, it has to be bankable, it has to be replicable, it has to be scalable, it has to be sustainable. And for that, you need adaptability. And when I talk, I always like to say adopt and adapt. So the solutions that were developed in India can be utilized in Colombia, right?
No problem.
No problem, right? So
No problem.
we're all on the same little planet, right? Let's make the solution universal.
On a very smaller scale, I work with the Citizen CPR Foundation, and we with all over the country, and frankly out of the United States as well. And there's a single mission. There's 13 parameters. And when we go to these municipalities around, and they come together and they say, wow, where are we going to begin with these 13? And I'm like, you're already all doing all of them. We're already all doing all of these steps. Let's dump them all on the table. And if we all just came together, such as you're suggesting, dump it all on the table. We're all doing it already.
Yes.
And then make sense of what we have, and then know our roles, find our expertise, our highest and best use of each individual with our purpose, our individual purpose, and our energy that we're ready to expand here and expel and share and add, not cacophony, but symphony. We're doing it. Then we can find the parts and pieces with those brains, add a little quantum physics, stir and serve.
You're preaching to the convicted.
Dr. Eggermont, totally, you are truly a visionary leader, and you are a global leader. We need people like you more and more in this universe. I tell you, people like you we need for not only United States, everywhere we need. This is the prophecy. There's your vision of healthcare system is universal. That as you said, that humans are all same. That you need that adopt that system into all these things that I love that your idea of PQ, SQ, and all this. I love that.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, Q.
Yeah, really good mechanism way of implementing these kind of. There's a good mechanism. Those are all. Those are excellent mechanisms to implement the process, because you can separate them out and you can implement much faster. If you are putting all together, it's all mixed up together, you separate it very well. That's a thank you for education for us. Thank you for joining with us from all the way. I hope we are in the safe situation. That everything looks good in Dubai. I think we can do some things. Susan can do also a little bit of Dubai. So it's all beautiful. Thank you for joining with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I'm truly inspired, and it was every single word I needed, and I think we all needed. Thank you so very much.
My pleasure. It's an honor and a privilege. Thank you.
Thank
Indeed.
you. Stick with me for a few more minutes, Dr. Eggermont. And then one of the guys is going to join from Mumbai and he's going to talk with you. Thank you for joining. Good night, all of you.
Good night,
Super.
everybody.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at WITiMediX are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.